Farmers adapt to an unusually dry year.
It would take a lot of rain to completely make up some of those deficits.
They're coming back. Find out when a new batch of cicadas could emerge.
I've just surrendered to them at this point.
How the warmth of spring could help your mental health.
Complete pivot in my mental health. It's like an instant snap. Feeling good changes the whole day.
And fountains of lava. See the latest eruption of Hawaii's Kilauea volcano.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. A massive wildfire is spreading rapidly in New Jersey this morning. It started yesterday afternoon around 30 miles north of Atlantic City near the Jersey Shore. It's still burning this morning. At last check, the fire scorched at least 8,500 acres and was just 10% contained. More than 1,300 structures are threatened. The power company cut power to 25,000 customers, all in an effort to protect firefighters. But there is some good news this morning. All evacuation orders were lifted this morning, allowing thousands of people to return to their homes. And the portion of the busy Garden State Parkway that was shut down yesterday is now back open. Well, the satellite time lapse shows just how fast the flames actually spread. Nearly 80% of the state faces drought conditions, including the counties now faced with the task of getting the fires under control. Alicia Roberts has more.
Chopper 3 over the Jones Road wildfire that continues to burn. Heavy flames and thick smoke could be seen for miles away, forcing the closure of the Garden State Parkway between exits 62 and 80. This video shows a fire line along the side of the road at the Waretown exit. The wildfire was reported in Barnegat Township, where crews began a backfiring operation Tuesday afternoon.
Emergency officials, along with the Red Cross, have set up temporary shelters in Waretown and here in Manahawkin at the Southern Regional High School. Many told us right now they're simply taking it hour by hour.
We're gonna hunker down here.
Tom Marchetti was forced to pack up and leave his home in Waretown.
It's pretty scary because, you know, the house. You want to protect your house, but you got to get out.
Around 5 to 6 o'clock, police showed up at her house, and that's when they told us that it was a mandatory evacuation.
Andrew Fellon and his fiancée were also forced to get out. As for what's next, they may stay with friends, but remain grateful, knowing what's at stake for so many.
I just got to say a prayer for all those people that are really, really affected and right there in the midst of the fire, and hope that they turn out okay.
The cause of the fire remains under investigation.
There's a threat of severe storms today in pretty much the same places as yesterday. The greatest risk is in an area that stretches from Texas to Kansas, including Lubbock and also Amarillo. Damaging winds and hail are also possible. Earlier, we mentioned the drought conditions in New Jersey. It's a similar story in parts of South Carolina, which has not seen much rain this year. Meteorologist Clara Faith tells us farmers in the middle of the state are finding ways to adapt.
Farmers across the Midlands haven't seen much rain. January through March have been the 8th driest months on record since 1895. It's almost 5 inches below normal.
North and South Carolina, we are seeing some more significant precipitation deficits, both in the west-northwest parts of the states, and as you go out longer term over the last, say, 6 to 9 months, even the last year, we are seeing some fairly significant precipitation deficits in the coastal areas of those two states. Some of those deficits grow to more of the 5 to 10 inch range too. So it would take a lot of rain to completely make up some of those deficits.
First of all, I implemented an irrigation system where the water is directed to where the need is, and that's at the root of the plants. And I also mulch to help hold in moisture.
Farmer Thomasina Logman and other farmers might be getting some help with some above normal precipitation in the next few months.
It's estimated that roughly 1.9 million people in the states are living in an area that has levels of drought conditions.
A powerful earthquake rocked Turkey this morning. The U.S. Geological Survey says the quake had a magnitude of 6.2 and was centered about 25 miles from Istanbul in the Sea of Marmara. There are no immediate reports of serious damage or injuries. Here's how a CNN anchor in Turkey reacted when the studio shook.
Deprem oluyor. Çok şiddetli bir deprem oluyor şu anda. Çok şiddetli bir deprem oluyor. Çok şiddetli bir deprem oluyor. İstanbul'da hissedilen çok şiddetli bir deprem oluyor. Sakin olalım. Çok yüksek bir deprem olduğunu söyleyebiliriz stüdyomuzda.
Holiday in Turkey, so most of the schools and schools are closed, but many events tied to the celebrations have been canceled. And check out this video from the latest eruption of Hawaii's Kilauea volcano. The lava started flowing again yesterday morning. Around the time this video was taken, the fountain of lava was shooting around 650 feet in the air. It's the 18th so-called episode of the volcano's ongoing eruption that started back in December. And about 8 hours after it started, the lava flow paused once again this morning. All is quiet right now. And parts of the New England area got a dose of dirty rain recently, but the culprit was traveling dust. Meteorologist Christian Bridges explains how that happens.
Well, we kicked off this past weekend with some rain showers Friday night into Saturday. But this wasn't just plain old rain, as you can see from the pictures that we've received from Maine and around New England. That rain left a dirty film on most cars and exposed surfaces. You can see here a really good example of that. My first thought when I saw this was maybe pollen. However, this dirty rain did not have that typical bright color that we associate with pollen. My next thought was dust and dirt from somewhere out west. And turns out that is likely where this dirty rain originated. Now, it's been a very dry winter across the Southwest. You can see drought conditions of severe and extreme intensity are in place across the Four Corners region. Now, last Thursday in New Mexico, a storm system kicked up some strong winds and lofted dust up into the air. This dust then reached an altitude of about 5,000 to 10,000 feet, and as the storm moved off to the east, the dust was transported with it. As rain developed with this storm across the upper Midwest in places like Michigan and then extending all the way east to us here in New England, it picked up that dust and brought it down to the ground. And you can even see a little bit of a brown tinge in our satellite image over Michigan on Friday when that storm system was moving through. There was still enough dust left in the atmosphere when the system reached Maine. And that's quite a long journey for some dust. About 2,000 miles this dust traveled to get to us here in New England. It's not unprecedented, though. Just last summer, strong upper-level winds brought western wildfire smoke to the skies over Maine several times.
Spring can be a great season to spend time outdoors, and according to a new study, the warm weather could be a great way to help treat issues affecting your mental health. Medical reporter Liz Bonas has more.
Out of the 220 participants ages 18 to 85, many reported being in the outdoors made them feel the way Scott says he feels.
It's just soul healing. Like the last couple of days with it being so nice and sunny outside, it's just like a complete pivot in my mental health. It's just like an instant snap to feeling good changes the whole day.
When mental health was measured using a standard depression and anxiety scoring scale, both men and women showed consistent improvement. The kind Leslie Taylor says she notices outside.
I think just walking, clearing your head, taking a little time to yourself throughout your week is always a great idea. I should do it more often.
Those who spent the most time outdoors showed the greatest improvement in as little as 12 weeks. The best benefit overall appeared to come from interaction with others during that time outside, as Kathleen and Lee Dwyer already know.
We like to take the opportunity to be outside whenever we can. I like the wide open spaces. We go camping a lot. We went camping on our honeymoon, and that was 52 years ago, and we're still camping today. And I just love nature. We love gardening.
And especially the springtime, you know, with all the flowers and the trees budding and everything all nice and new. And it's not terribly hot.
Now, if you can't spend this much time outside every day, other studies show just 20 minutes a day. It's kind of like taking a nature chill pill.
Check out, NASA has released this image showing a fragment of an asteroid with a unique peanut shape. The photo was captured by NASA's Lucy spacecraft as it passed by this asteroid. The space agency said it was formed around 150 million years ago. It is estimated to be about 5 miles long and around 2 miles wide. The full asteroid is not visible in this photo. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, despite warmer temperatures, officials in California are warning people to stay out of local waterways. We'll tell you why. In some areas of the country, we'll see cicadas emerging in the coming weeks. We'll show you where next.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. It's a cool start to your Wednesday, but sunshine goes back to work in the Northeast today. Most areas will top out in the 60s. A few spots will be in the 70s. Now, as we go into Thursday, kind of more of the same. There'll be more of an onshore wind that day, so 50s and 60s will be common. That's about, 1:30 in the afternoon. We're coolest at the coastline. We'll get into a quick round of showers, particularly in northern New England Thursday night, then look for developing sun on Friday.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. We're looking at high pressure across the region all the next 3 days into the weekend almost before we get our next system to roll in and bring us some rain, not until closer to Friday. But between then, it's looking like beautiful spring weather will reign supreme, and we'll be looking at temperatures in the 70s as we move through your Wednesday afternoon, and still another day of it on Thursday. The only thing we have to contend with is a lot of pollen in the air.
I'm meteorologist Charlotte Carl. Afternoon high temperatures for your Wednesday for most of us are going to be above average despite cloud cover and few isolated showers. We'll be near 90 degrees on that I-4 corridor, 80s closer to that I-20 corridor, and then around I-10 we'll see a mixture between the upper 80s and the upper 70s and lower 80s. So like I mentioned, a few of these showers developing throughout the day in parts of Alabama and Georgia, and then also some isolated showers in the Carolinas as well as an unsettled pattern establishes.
The National Weather Desk.
Scallop fisheries are active again after a federal agency briefly shut down fishing in the northern Gulf of Maine earlier this month. The pause was around 10 days long. Sam DaCosta explains why it happened.
Scaling back on scallop fishing.
I was glad that they were stopped from fishing.
Togue Braun has been a fisheries manager for 3 decades. She says preventing overharvesting is critical to preserving the seafood industry in Maine.
The northern Gulf of Maine was very attractive to a lot of scallop fishermen because it has been managed conservatively and the resource is doing very well. So there was more activity in the area than would ordinarily be the case.
The northern Gulf of Maine management area reaches from Boston up to the Canadian border. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, paused scallop fishing in the region on April 11th, while their quota for the year was still being calculated. 10 days later, the quote was set at 675,000 pounds for the season.
I'm happy it's back on.
Now, fishermen are back to business.
I was worried for the guys that are down there. They have their boats down there. And concerned, trying to get the best product for our customers. Can get scallops elsewhere.
The move allows seafood markets like free-range fish and lobster serve scallops caught by local fishermen.
I'm happy to put that product out and happy to see these guys, being able to get back to work and scallop for what's left of the season.
Last year around this time, one of the largest cicada broods started emerging in the Carolinas. Now another group is set to emerge after 17 years. Brood 14, meteorologist Claire Faith has more.
That's the sound that made some people confused and frustrated throughout the Midlands.
I've just surrendered to them at this point. It's their world. I'm just living in it.
Around this time last year, cicada brood 19 emerged in South Carolina, one of the largest broods of cicadas.
So last year was a huge year for periodical cicadas, and those were 13-year cicadas, not 17, and they belonged to brood 19. And they were out across a wide band from the south, and actually that emergence went all the way from Maryland up to Iowa.
And now the second largest brood, 14, is back after 17 years.
Actually has populations out on Cape Cod, a large number in Pennsylvania. And interestingly enough, if you're in South Carolina, these guys are not on tap for South Carolina. You just missed them.
In California, temperatures are really warming up, but officials are warning people that river water in the state is still very cold. On top of that, snowpack is melting and making those cold waterways extremely dangerous. Leandra Ceballos has more.
That water flow come out of the dam is making the flows very strong. Again, those temperatures are very cold, and that's a deadly combination.
Spring has sprung and the temperatures are peaking as if summer is here. Many look forward to enjoying the water, but the Fresno Sheriff's Department says it's just not the right time for a river run. Across the valley in the last 4 days, there were 4 water rescues, 2 of which ended in the death of victims not wearing a life jacket or not wearing it properly.
You don't buy a pair of shoes that are 3 sizes too big, right? Same thing with a life jacket. Make sure it fits perfectly. Use it the way it's intended, because that is ultimately what is going to save your life.
Life jackets come in many different sizes and different prices. It's important to find one that works best for you. On the inside, all of them will have the weight that it carries. So it's very important to look for one going based off your weight to make sure it fits perfectly. I'm wearing an adult small medium that carries someone who is over 90 pounds. It's very important to make sure you clip your life jacket, but also tug it to where you feel like it's perfectly safe and where you feel like you won't slip out.
What people need to understand is that the temperature of the water has not caught up with the temperature of the sun. We might be in the 80s, but the water is still in the low 50s.
The snow we received this past winter is still melting and flowing into our local rivers. That runoff has caused some of our rivers to have twice as much flow in the past month, while keeping the water temperature around 50 degrees.
Even if you feel confident in your swimming abilities, I always say it's better to be safer than sorry when it comes to your life.
It's been an active, severe weather season with multiple rounds of tornado-warned storms. Now, meteorologist Evan Chikvera shows us why tornadoes are more common this time of year.
This is a look at tornado numbers from 99 to 23. Just a sample size, but it gives the idea. Why do we have more tornadoes further south in April? Well, the jet stream, by nature, can get further south this time of year. The cold air can still have a presence. Warm air hasn't quite taken over, and so the focal point for tornadoes tends to be a little bit further south compared to once we get into May. Same time period, a look at those tornadoes. We averaged 269 during this time span, but notice where the focus has shifted. Jet stream's position's a little further north. The focus becomes the Great Plains. You get into the Ohio Valley region, and that is where the concentration is. Does that mean we can't have tornadoes in May? No, not at all. In fact, we tend to see several in May across the state of Alabama. Things can obviously change, but this is our pattern in what it looks like the next potentially 2 weeks. The ridge would keep severe weather to the north, deflecting to the central plains. Of course, this could change, but as we move ahead to the end of this month and into May, hopefully that means our severe weather season begins to wind down, but you know what that means? 90s aren't too far away.
And Evan just mentioned 90-degree temperatures, but how exactly are temperatures forecast? Well, that's the question meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael answers in this week's edition of Weather Bucket, where he tackles questions from viewers on Facebook. Take a look.
What's up, everyone? Andrew Buck-Michael back with another round of your Weather Bucket questions. So let's go ahead and dive in here and see what we have got today. The first question coming in from Beck. She said, how can you predict the temperatures? Well, we get fluctuation in temperatures every single day. The heating during the day, the cooling during the night, plus the seasons, things are going to change quite frequently. So how do we predict that? We take a look at the waves of the temperatures. Take a look here. From the North Pole, we get these colder temperatures to occasionally work their way farther south in these waves. And that's when we get a cold front right before we get those cooler blasts of air. And that leads us right into the next question from Diana. I can't understand how it can be in the 60s at 2 p.m., then drop at 3:30 so fast. Puzzled. So we get really strong cold fronts to occasionally cause some really dramatic drops in temperatures. For instance, take a look here in March. We went from 61 in the afternoon down into the 30s by the evening, but that wasn't the biggest temperature drop Columbus has ever experienced. That was back on December 23rd, 2022. Take a look at the temperature drop here. In less than 12 hours, we dropped 49 degrees. We get these really cold blasts of air with these cold fronts. Typically it brings us some rain or snow when we get this cold front to move through, and also a drop in temperatures. Sometimes it's only 4 or 5 degrees, but other times you get these dramatic drops in temperatures. And those are the ones when you really are like, man, what is going on? Hopefully that answers your question. We always see these fluctuation in temperatures day to day, even hour by hour. So temperatures are something we can get a pretty good handle on a few or even several days out. Timing of rain, sometimes you have to wait till it gets a little bit closer to time it out. But temperatures, we do get a pretty good handle 4, 5, 6, 7 days out. Thanks for the weather questions. Coming up next time, we are going to be focusing on some spring weather questions.
Time now for a short break where we leave you with views of Murrells Inlet in South Carolina.
Well, a very good Wednesday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael, your weather maker across the Midwest. Not a whole lot today. Got a few showers and storms starting to try to develop and blow up into the afternoon there across in Nebraska and also Kansas. But as we go through the day today, temperatures warming up, more thunderstorms developing as we get into your Thursday, and that shifts a little bit more to the east by Friday.
Well, a good Wednesday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Chris Suchan. Look at our forecast today across the region. Another typical spring-like day with scattered showers and thunderstorms for parts of the region. Some of those storms could be strong to maybe even severe with wind gusts and some hail. Highs 70s and 80s and very humid. Late Wednesday, watching West Texas and the Panhandle for some developing thunderstorms through Wednesday night. And some of those storms could also pack a bit of a punch, and then more shower opportunities through the day on Thursday.
Hey, good Wednesday morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Stella Sun. High pressure off the west coast will continue to bring dry conditions across the Pacific Northwest. Meanwhile, a disturbance will shake out some showers through parts of Salt Lake, Denver, and through Wyoming and in Nevada. You can see here temperatures will be cooler in the middle 50s through Jackson, middle 60s in Denver, 80 degrees in Albuquerque, and double 6s in Seattle and in San Diego, low 60s from LA, and 87 in Las Vegas. That's the scene from here.
The National Weather Desk.
Severe weather can happen at any time of the year, and even more so during the spring and summer months. It is important to be prepared. Meteorologist Donnie Cox explains why a NOAA weather radio should be part of your weather-wise safety kit.
We are in the middle of severe weather season across the U.S. and hurricane season's not that far away, and you need multiple ways to get warnings and watches for your area. One of the ways to do that is the NOAA weather radio. Yeah, I know you have a cell phone or you have an app and it works and they send out the warnings. That is great to have, but the warnings on a NOAA weather radio are instant. Sometimes on your phone or an app it may be delayed if all those warnings are going out at the same time. With the NOAA weather radio, you can program your state and county. You can receive the alerts for your neighborhood so that you know the warnings are nearby. The NOAA Weather Radio is a great way to make sure that you're alert during severe weather season and the upcoming hurricane season.
And we'd love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great day, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.